on this computer. Okay, so this is the recording for the tutoring session 1, managing files and directory. Over here, we're gonna go over the commands that we use for managing files and directories. So all the way from mkdir to CV and CP. We're also gonna take a look at some ls commands just for the sake of practice, and a little bit of the tree command again for the sake of practice. So um, how do you get to this page? It's in our GitHub page. Go to the tutoring folder and you're gonna find session 1. I don't promise that I'm gonna have a recording every week, but I do promise that there is gonna be a lab, or pretty much a tutoring document where you can actually practice some commands. So for everybody who needs to have extra practice for whatever reason, you can just go to this document and do those questions over there. You can also request a session with me and we can go over it if you want. I'm flexible. So let me clean up my terminal a little bit over here. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to delete the documents books folder that I have over there. Now I have a clean environment. So in question number 1, we are being asked, create a folder called books inside your documents directory. Now, to answer that question, the first thing that you need to know is, well, where am I? Where am I working at the moment? Because that depends on how I answer this question. It's the first thing that you should ask yourself. So to know where I am, I type pwd and notice that I am in my home directory, right? Okay, I am in my home directory, but I know that the documents directory is relative to my home directory. If I type ls, notice that there is a folder called documents that is located right there on my home directory. So that makes my job easy. So to create the folder, I type mkdir, which is the make directory command. And then where am I creating this folder? Well, they want it in the documents folder. So I should start with documents and then the name of the folder that I'm creating. In this case, the name of the folder is books. As you can see, no error message was thrown, no warning was given. My command ran successfully. And if you ever want to verify whether the command worked, because you have any doubt, you can always do an ls command. For example, if I do ls documents books, notice that it doesn't return an error. And if I do ls documents, it lists the folders that are inside the documents folder. And as you can see, what do you see? You see the books folder that we just created. Now, you do this if you are unsure, because I understand that the terminal can be a little intimidating. If you want to look at it graphically, you can also open a file manager and go directly to the folder and take a look at it. It is okay to do this because I understand that the black box, in this case the purple box, can be intimidating. Okay, so that answers question number 1. Now question number 2 is create 3 more folders inside the books folder. Now stop the video at this moment and try to do it on your own. With the knowledge that you have of question 1, you should be able to complete question 2, because the only thing that we're doing here is bumping up a little bit the path. For instance, if I do mkdir, obviously because I'm creating the folder, and I type documents, notice how I am using the tab auto completion by just pressing the tab key on my keyboard, because it allows me to, number 1, be more efficient, and number 2, it avoids typos. Then B for books, right? And then the name of the folder that I'm creating, in this case, action. And I can do it all in one command. For instance, I can do a space. Remember that the mkdir command takes more. You can create multiple folders by just providing the names of the folders separated by a space. In this case, we're separating them by a space, and we're using relative paths. So I can do documents, right? Because I'm creating a new folder and I need to specify where I'm creating that new folder, books, and then the name of the new folder, which is adventure. Oh, sorry. Now, let me decrease the size of my terminal. There you go, so that you can see the full thing. Now, I can create the next one as well. I can do mkdir, sorry, I don't need to repeat the command, that would be silly. Documents, and then books, and then the name of the new folder, which is fantasy. if you list the documents books directory, notice that 3 new directories were created. If you want to see it in a prettier format, we can also use the tree command to display documents, book directory, and here's how it looks. If you did it this way, you did it successfully. You have answered question 1 and question 2, and you can use the mkdir command with relative path now. You should tap yourself in the shoulder. Now, question number 3 challenges a little bit more, because question number 3 is saying, hey, I want you to go to the var directory, and then from there, I want you to create folders in the videos directory, right? So obviously, this is telling me something else. It's telling me that I need to use absolute path here, because otherwise I won't be able to work. So I'm gonna clear my terminal, because it's always good to work on a clear environment, and I'm going to type cd var. This is gonna take me to the var directory, and if you want to see where the var directory is located, visually, right, you can go here to places, home, and then click on file system. And what are we? We just got inside the var directory. That's where we are right now. If I type ls, notice that the folders that you see over here are the same folders that are over here. Now, before I continue, any questions?
No, I just got it.
Okay. So now they want us to create 3 folders, actually 4 folders, because they want us to recreate this entire directory structure, but they want us to do it in the videos directory. So obviously I'm gonna be working with absolute path here. So I'm gonna do mkdir, and if I want, I can do it a long way. I can type home, and then my username, and then movies, right? Movies. And that's gonna create the first directory, right? The parent directory. Or I can make it a fast way. I can simply use the shorthand of my home directory by using the tilde character, right? And then where do I need to go? Well, they want us to do it in the videos directory. So I should start by providing the videos directory, and then the name of the new directory that I'm creating. And this one is called movies. Okay, the first one has been created. Now inside movies, I need to create 3 more directories. So I'm gonna do mkdir videos, movies, animated, and then I'm gonna provide the second one, which is again videos, movies. But here's the thing: this folder, this directory, has a space in its name. So that means that we need to escape the space character. During the lecture, we saw that there are 2 ways of doing it. We can either use the backslash, or we can just surround the whole thing in quotations. So why don't we just do that? Historical fiction. And then the next one, which is mystery. So again, videos, movies, mystery. And press enter. Oh my God, I had a typo on the command. Isn't that ridiculous? There you go. Perfect. Now, how do we know that this was created successfully? Well, first of all, it didn't return an error message, but how do we know that it created it in the right directory? Well, why don't we do the little tree command one more time, and we do videos, and then movies. As you can see, it was created successfully without a problem. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
But okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question.
Yeah, you said that there is 2 ways. The first way is the long way, and the second way is with the delta.
The tilde character. Yes,
Okay.
because the tilde character is actually just a variable that stores your home directory. So whenever you want to write your home directory, you can just also use the tilde character. It's the same thing. They do the same thing. This is the same as this. In my case, in your case, it's gonna be your username, but in my case, it's JDO because that's my username,
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
right? And you can also write it like this, and that's gonna make writing absolute path a little easier. Okay, so in question number 4, so in your home directory, create the following structure using a single command. Now, this one is interesting because in this one, they don't want us to create multiple commands, right? Like we did before. You saw that in order for me to create the previous directory structure in movies, I first had to create the movies directory, the parent directory, and then the child directory, the children directory, right? Historical fiction, animated and mystery. In this case, they want us to just use one command. Now, there is an option, right, of the mkdir command that allows us to create a parent directory and then div child directories in one single command without us having to do all this moving around. How do we do it? It's very simple. mkdir, mkdir, and then option minus p for parent, and that's going to create the first directory, which is practice 1, and notice how I started with the tilde character because they want me to create this in the home directory, right? In my home directory, not in the present working directory. Perfect. And then the directories or the subdirectories that are going to be inside practice 1, and that's going to be foods. But then inside foods, they want me to create another directory called American. American. And then inside American, they want another folder called burgers. This mkdir command is first going to create the practice folder, then inside practice is going to create foods, and then inside foods is going to create American, and then inside American is going to create burgers. If I press enter, notice that I don't get a single error. If I do 3, practice 1, see that my structure was created as indicated by the question. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so let's go and do question number 5. Create a file inside each of the book categories directory. Use any name you want for your file. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna change directory to the books directory to make my life easy. So I'm gonna do cd documents and then books. And then over here, I have 3 folders. And they want me to create a file inside each folder. And they want me to name the file however I want. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to name my first file list of books. And I'm going to create it inside the actions directory. So I'm going to do touch. And the reason why I do touch is because in order for me to create an empty file in Linux, we use the touch command. So I'm going to do touch action. And then here I'm going to call the file list of books. There we go. Now now I need to create another file inside of adventure and fantasy. So I'm gonna do touch adventure, and then this one I'm gonna call it short story. Notice that I am using the backslash to escape the space character that is over here, because this is a single file simply with a space in its name. Then I'm gonna create another one. The other one is gonna be inside the fantasy one. So I'm gonna call it fantasy, and this one is gonna be called authors. Yeah, authors.txt. Why not? Now let's take a look at how this let's take a look at the structure of this directory to see these files. As you can see, inside action, there is a new file called list of books. Inside adventure, there is a new file called short story. And inside fantasy, there is a new file called authors.txt. Any questions?
No, I'm just looking at.
Okay, so for question number 6, it says, create a file inside the burgers directory. The file must have a space or a special character in its name. I already showed you how to do that, but why don't we do it again? So what I'm gonna do is that again, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it from my present working directory so that you can see examples of working, with different path names. So I'm gonna do touch, and I need to reach the burgers directory. But the burgers directory is located inside a directory called project one, and then others directory that are inside there. So I'm gonna do home because it's inside my home directory, practice one, and then foods, and then American, and then burgers. And then inside here is that they want the file, and this one is gonna be called Burger King. That XLS. And press enter. Oh, wait, hold on. They want me to create a file with a space or a special character in its name. So let's repeat the same process. But in this case, we're gonna call it Burger King's spread sheets. And because this file has a semicolon, sorry, a quotation in its name, I'm gonna surround it with double quotes. There you go. And I'm gonna press enter. If I do 3, practice 1, notice that my file Burger King sheets with a little with a little quotation in between was created with no problem, and so was the other one. Any questions?
No,
Okay.
it's supposed to be.
So let's move along to question number 7. Display a tree of the books directory. I already showed you how to do that. List all the files in the practice one directory recursively with human readable file sizes. And over here, all I'm asking you is practice the ls command. So if I wanna practice that again, remember you can always open a new tab and do ls help to see the help page of the ls command. Right? We can always do that. Now they want me to list, right? So I'm gonna type ls the practice one directory, and the practice one directory is inside my home directory. So practice one, but they want me to do it recursively, and for that I need to do capital R. And they also want human readable file sizes, but in order for me to see the size of a file, I need to do the long listing. And then in order to make the size human readable, I need to provide the H option. If I press enter, notice that all the files are listed recursively, and I see human readable file size. So we obviously these files have zero size because they are empty files.
But the minus R is for what?
Recursive.
Okay.
Minus capital R to be specific, because lowercase r does reverse sorting. Okay, now use the rm command to delete all the files and directories that you have created so far. Okay, so let's clear the screen, and I'm gonna go home. Now I need to create the books directory, the practice one directory, and the movies directory. Okay, but those directories are not empty. So in order for me to delete non-empty directories, I need to use the minus R option. So I'm gonna do remove minus R, and then, oops, sorry, there you go. Practice one, and then okay, sorry about that. So practice one, and then we're gonna do videos. And then inside videos, we have the movies directory. And then the last one that we're gonna remove is the books directory that is inside the documents directory. So we go here, documents, books. And these files have been removed. Okay, now the second practice is moving and copying files. And for here, the first thing that we need to do is, first of all, we need to generate a couple of files that we're gonna work with, right? So we're gonna run this command over here that is going to generate a text file with a random quote in it. So I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste it here. Press enter, and that's done. Then we're gonna download an image. We're gonna download a file, an audio file, and then a video file. So I'm gonna just open this one, and this one. Okay, this wallpaper is fine. Free download. And I'm gonna click save file, and I'm gonna click on OK. Next, I'm gonna download a song. So I'm gonna download this, download, save, and save. And lastly, we're gonna download a sample video over here. This video that's 46 seconds is fine. Oh, cannot be found, so too bad. Oh wow. Okay, so free download. I'm gonna download at the lowest quality possible. Let's click on OK. All my files have been downloaded. Let's go back to our practice. So list all the files in your downloads directory. Okay, ls downloads. Do you see all the files that you downloaded? Well, I do. I see the random quote, I see the mountains video, I also see the song, and I see the wallpaper as well. So yeah, I see all the files. Which one is the biggest? Well, if I want to know which one is the biggest, the smartest thing would be to list it, right? So if I do ls minus l downloads, it's gonna show me the files, but here's the thing: it's not gonna sort them by by who's the largest. And I kind of need that if I want to know which is the largest file. So if you go back here in the help page of the ls command, you're gonna find that if you provide option capital S, it allows you to sort it by file size, showing you the largest first. So I think that we need to add that to our ls command. So let's do capital S, enter. But these file sizes are difficult to read, so maybe I want to make my life easier by making them human readable. And as you can see, the picture happens to be the largest file that we have because it's 4.7 megabytes. And the smallest is the random quote file with 199 bytes. Okay, now that we did that, let's continue. What command did you use to figure it out? Well, I used the ls command and I gave it a couple of options to make my life easy. Create the necessary directories to start practicing. Okay, so in my documents folder, I need to create a folder called quote. In my pictures folder, one called images. In the music directory, one called audio. In the videos, one called vids. So, no big deal. So let's do mkdir. And then inside documents, I'm going to create a directory called quote. And then inside pictures, I'm going to create a directory called images. And then inside music, I'm going to create a directory called audio. And then inside videos, I'm going to create a directory called vids. Done. And if you do ls minus d to list the directories themselves, notice that we created those directories successfully with no problem. Okay, so now rename the files you downloaded. Use any naming convention that you want. And to rename the files, we use the mv command. We also use the mv command to move them, as you saw in the examples that we had in our presentation. So how do you rename a file? Well, you provide the old name and then the new name, right? And the mv command takes either an absolute path or a relative path. So in this case, because I know that my files are in the downloads folder, I'm gonna use a relative path. So I'm gonna do mv downloads, right? And let me see. By the way, I did double tap to see that list. And the first one that I'm gonna rename is the music one, and it's called Ben Sound Dubstep.mp3. I'm gonna make it simpler to myself. I'm gonna call this downloads. I'm gonna call this song. .mp3. Why not? Okay, let me rename the JPEG file, which is the picture file that I downloaded. So I'm gonna do mv downloads and case, and I'm gonna name it of picture that JPEG. Okay, let's rename now the video file, which is called mountains 61818. So let's do mv downloads uh, mountains and then downloads. Sorry, downloads, and I'm gonna call this video.mp4. Lastly, we are gonna rename the quote from random quote.txt to just quote.txt. So I'm gonna do mv downloads random quote downloads quote.txt. Perfect. Now, if I do ls downloads, notice that the files have their new names as they were successfully renamed. Any questions about how to rename a file?
No, this one is easy.
Okay, perfect. Now, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna move those files to their respective directories, right? And these are gonna be separate commands because they cannot be achieved in a single command. So the first thing that I'm gonna move is the video file. So I'm gonna do mv downloads video file, and I'm gonna send it to the video directory and to the vids directory, right? And then we're gonna do the same thing with the picture. So we're gonna do mv downloads picture, and then we're gonna move it to our pictures directory, and we're gonna put it in the images directory. Perfect. Then we're gonna do the same thing with audio. So we're gonna do mv downloads audio. Oh no, it's called song, by the way. Sorry. And then we're gonna do music and then audio. Lastly, we're gonna move the quote, right? So we're gonna do mv downloads quote.txt, and we're gonna put it in the documents quote directory. Perfect. Now that we move those files, right? If you type ls downloads, you're gonna notice that those files are no longer in my downloads folder. Now, create a new directory called website. Copy all the files to the website directory. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna copy cp. CP is for copying. So I'm gonna copy the. I'm gonna start with documents, quote, and then quote, and then I'm also going to copy music, audio, and then song, and I'm also going to copy the video one, so that's in videos, vids, and then video.mp4, and I'm missing the picture, so picture, and then images, and inside images we have the picture file. Now I have those three files, those four files over here. The last thing that I need to provide is the destination where the copies are going to go, and they are gonna go to the website directory. If I do ls website, notice that all my files have been copied there. However, their original versions are still in their respective directories. Those are just copies. And that's it. Practice, practice, and practice. Practice make perfection. Practice create geniuses. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording over there.